This is a prawn and chicken curry laksa. Maybe lots and lots of fresh coconut milk. So first of all, I just want you to do a couple little jobs for me, really. First, sure. I don't think I need to tell you girls how to peel prawns, but and I want the shells.
Okay.
So if you can get on with that. Yeah, that'd be good. So while you're peeling the prawns, which I can see you're doing most expertly, I'm going to make up the curry paste. They call it rempah in Malaysia. So first of all, about 20 grams of fresh ginger. And then next, some fresh garlic, about 15 grams.
How many cloves would that be, roughly?
It's 3 fat ones. Then we've got a couple of lemongrass stalks, which I've already chopped up. The secret about using a mortar and pestle is everything needs to be chopped up a little before you start. Then I've got about 75 grams of shallots, or echallots, you call them?
Yes.
A couple of teaspoons of dried shrimp. Remember this stuff?
Shrimp paste.
Yes. It just stinks, doesn't it?
Chef gave us a big, deep breath of it.
A couple of teaspoons of that, let's say 1.5 of those. Then about 20 grams of cashew nuts, but you can use macadamia nuts. You want quite a nice sort of fatty nut for this. Now then, where's my teaspoon? This is fish curry spice, and you can get this in special shops in Australia now. So probably a couple of teaspoons of that. And then actually I have got fresh turmeric, which we saw in the market yesterday, which you can get in Australia now. You're so lucky.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
So that's about 20 grams of fresh turmeric. And finally, the chilies. That's about 4 large of those finger chilies we saw yesterday. Bit of oil just to let everything go. And some salt. Probably about half a teaspoon of salt. So there we go. Okay, so now we just have some fun. That's the bit I really like. Back home, a small food processor is probably what you'll end up using, which is ideal, really. So that looks pretty good, pretty smooth, and the right sort of consistency. So we'll put that to one side for a minute. And just make sure you got your prawns done.
Yes, Chef.
Good that you kept the heads and the tails, because there's so much flavour in these heads and tails. First of all, I'm just going to fry these in a little bit of oil, and then I'm going to make a stock with them. So we'll just put those in there like that. Just getting a bit of flavour. You get a lot of sort of caramelisation when you fry prawn shells. That's about 250 grams of prawns shell on. So that's looking pretty good now. So I'm just going to add about a litre or so of water. And then we just leave that to simmer away for quite a long time, about 30 minutes. Now, the next thing I would quite like to do is to fry the tofu here. I'm not that familiar with tofu. It's not something I deal with a great deal, but I have found that if you fry it, it gives a lovely crispness to it. I think a lot of people find just plain tofu a bit boring. So I think we'll go for about 200 grams of tofu, I suppose. So we're just going to put those in the pan and fry them till they're crisp on either side. There we go. You haven't got anything to do. You can pick some of these, the mint, the mint and coriander. Right, now the other thing I want to show you is we got the coconut yesterday. So I'm looking for about 400 millilitres of milk. And you use really about equal quantities by volume. So just under half a litre.
So just covering it, is it?
Yeah, it's just equal quantities. So if you just weigh it out in a measuring jug, you can see it's got a bit of husk and all that in there. So
and that doesn't matter?
Nah. So all we need to do now is just put a sieve like that and push it through. You can squeeze it if you like with your hands.
That is so easy.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Okay, that tofu should be done by now. Can we have some paper or... what I love about girls in the kitchen is that they've always got these things to hand. I'm a bit of a sort of boy when it comes to...
Often in a handbag.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
OK, right, we're just about ready with this stock now. That's a bit hot. That's been simmering away nicely, so we'll just drain that off.
And the colour of it.
Yeah,
so
yes.
orange.
And that's the colour I'm looking for in the laksa anyway. See? Good. Well, we've made the paste, we've got the tofu done, we've got the stock done, we've got the coconut milk done. Now I need to cook the laksa.
When we come back...
And the rest of making this is just really quick.
Rick's killer laksa comes together in a flash.
What do you think?
It's so creamy.
It is. It's
and the
creamy.
prawns are just yum.
We're now ready to cook the prawn and chicken curry laksa. First of all, Let's get the spice paste back up and into the dish. We need some oil, first of all. Now what I'm going to do is cook it for about 3 or 4 minutes, just to drive off all the moisture. I always say cook it till it splits.
Oh, okay.
And that means really when you look at it and you can see the ingredients all splitting, because we've got to cook out the turmeric and the garlic and the shallots. You can see that's beginning to split already.
Yeah. The vibrant colour.
Yeah.
It's just beautiful.
So this is about, 3 minutes, do you think, on a high heat? Okay, the prawn stock. Stir that around a little bit.
Do you want me to stir it?
Oh, would you?
No worries. Thank you.
Good. I mean, the rest of making this is just really quick. Just add that as well.
Smells unreal.
It does, doesn't it? And it looks good. Now, the other ingredients, about a tablespoon of palm sugar. We're going to put about 160 grams of chicken in there. Cook it for a couple of minutes. There we go. We just pop the prawns in there as well. There we go. I think we'll cook those for a couple of minutes. That's almost done, apart from, of course, the noodles. Before I put the noodles in, I'm just going to put some fish sauce in. Now, this isn't totally kosher in Malaysia, but Chef Wan uses fish sauce. It's really, instead of salt, and it's more of a Thai ingredient, a couple of tablespoons of that. So we're nearly ready to go, but for the noodles. Now, I've used egg noodles here, and you can drop them into boiling water, but I'm just going to put them straight in, about 400 grams. So I'm using egg noodles, but you can use rice noodles, or you can use both if you like the contrast. Right, now to bowl it up. Just going to put a few things in the bottom. First of all, some cooked green beans, like that. This is just for one, by the way. I've done enough for 4. Then some of the tofu and some bean sprouts. Okay, let's get cracking with adding all that lovely sauce and noodles. There we go, 1 more spoonful, and then some of that delicious juice. So creamy, isn't it?
Oh, yum.
Oh, it looks beautiful.
Delish. Okay, maybe 1 more. I think this is a 2-man bowl, not a 1. Right, then we just finish with a few things on top. Wonderfully, expertly picked mint and some coriander slightly wilting under the sun, but there we go. And now this isn't too hot. This is called sambal olek. It's just minced up chilies, a bit of oil, a bit of sugar, and a bit of salt. So I put a nice dollop right in the middle, but you would need to make sure that wasn't too hot. Finally, we just need to squeeze a bit of lime on there, I think. That'll be essential to me. Well, ladies, that's my Kuala Lumpur prawn and chicken curry laksa. Now the all-important tasting.
Okay, I'm ready.
Right.
It's beautiful.
It does, doesn't it? It's just the colours of Malaysia. Well. What do you think?
It's so creamy.
It is. It's
And the
creamy.
prawns are just yum.
What they say about, those little shrimps I put in there, that gives it a really pleasing grainy texture as well.
And you
The
can taste the prawn in the sauce just as much as in the prawn.
And the lime juice on the top actually just gives it that balance.
Absolutely, yeah.
And the fresh herbs. Just
Well.
add a real vibrancy.
Yum.
Well, I would say that the 3 top tips about this dish. First of all, fresh ingredients.
Definitely.
Getting all those ingredients in the market. The second tip, well, use the prawn heads and shells. I mean, it makes so much difference to the finished gravy. And thirdly, don't overcook your noodles. You just need to drop them in if they're done. Well, it's time to say goodbye. Kate, Rachel, it's been such fun.
It's been a lot of fun.
I hope you've sort of appreciated how wonderful the flavours of Malaysia are.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for showing them to us.
Well, good luck in the competition. I'll be going for you.
Oh, thank you so much.
Lovely, lovely girls.
We really have loved meeting you and appreciate all that you've shown us.
The pleasure. The pleasure's all mine.
Oh, thank you so much, Rick. Bye.
See you later.
Bye.